May 2025. The start of mango season in the United States, a time when fruit lovers eagerly await the arrival of India's most coveted varieties. Shipments of India's prized Alfonso and Kesar mangoes land in the U.S., but instead of celebration, they're stopped cold at the border, their journey abruptly halted. Not for pests or spoilage, but a simple clerical error, a form filled out wrong, a box left unchecked, a signature missing. The tiniest oversight, but with massive consequences. Nearly $500,000 worth of fruit is quarantined, then destroyed. Perfectly ripe mangoes destined for American homes, now lost to bureaucracy. For Indian exporters, it's a crushing blow. Months of work, hope, and investment lost in an instant. The dreams of farmers and exporters vanish with a single stamp. The perishable nature of mangoes means there's no second chance. Once the clock runs out, the fruit is ruined, and the opportunity is gone forever. This wasn't just about money, it was about reputation, trust, and the future of Indian mangoes in the global market. Every rejected shipment casts a long shadow. The news spread fast, shaking confidence in India's ability to meet U.S. standards. Social media buzzed, and headlines questioned the reliability of Indian exports. As India faltered, competitors saw opportunity. Other mango-producing nations watched closely, ready to step in and claim a share of the lucrative U.S. market. Mexico, already the U.S. mango giant, was ready to fill the gap. Their shipments moved swiftly, capitalizing on India's misfortune. In global trade, one nation's misstep is another's gain. The balance can shift overnight, and the stakes are always high. The story of these rejected mangoes is a lesson in how quickly fortunes can change. In a world driven by paperwork and precision, a single error can erase months of effort. In this high-stakes market, even a paperwork slip can turn sweet dreams into bitter loss, reminding us that in the world of global trade, every detail matters. To grasp the impact, consider America's mango obsession. The U.S. is the world's largest mango importer with a market worth over $1 billion. Mangoes are everywhere. Smoothies, salsas, salads, desserts. This demand fuels fierce competition among exporters worldwide. Hundreds of thousands of metric tons arrive each year to satisfy cravings. For India, Mexico, Peru, and Brazil, the U.S. market is a top prize. Success means jobs, foreign exchange, and national pride. But the standards are sky-high, and the logistics daunting. Only those who master the rules and deliver consistently can win. The Indian paperwork blunder wasn't a minor hiccup. It was a disruption in a billion-dollar supply chain. In this market, any gap is filled fast. Every shipment is a high-stakes gamble. The lesson in America's mango market: there's no room for error. Importing mangoes to the U.S. is a tightly controlled process. The USDA requires all Indian mangoes to undergo irradiation, a treatment to kill pests. This happens in certified facilities overseen by a USDA inspector. After treatment, the inspector issues the PPQ 203 form, a certificate proving the fruit is safe. This document is the key to entry. Without it, the shipment is worthless. The process is unforgiving. Both the treatment and the paperwork must be flawless. A missing signature or incorrect reading means instant rejection. The system is designed for zero tolerance. In global trade, the smallest paperwork error can have massive consequences. For Indian exporters, the pen proved mightier and harsher than the sword. The fate of entire shipments rests on a single form. The May 2025 crisis began not in the orchard, but in the office. It was a typical morning with the hum of computers and the shuffle of documents, but beneath the routine, a single oversight was about to set off a chain reaction that no one could have predicted. The mangoes were perfect, the treatment flawless. Every fruit had been carefully harvested, packed, and prepared for export, destined for eager customers thousands of miles away. But the inspector failed to record the dosimeter readings on the PPQ 203 form, a tiny detail, but a critical one. Without this, there was no official proof that the mangoes had been properly irradiated. Customs officials in the U.S. spotted the error immediately. Their job was to protect, and they couldn't take chances with missing paperwork no matter how small the omission seemed. No proof of irradiation, no entry. Rules are rules. The regulations were clear and there was no room for exceptions, even for a shipment of flawless fruit. 15 shipments, 25 metric tons, $500,000, rejected in a single devastating decision. The scale of the loss was staggering, and the consequences immediate. Sending them back wasn't an option. The fruit would spoil long before it could return. The clock was ticking, and the mangoes were already beginning to rot. The only choice: destroy the mangoes. Perfectly good fruit grown with care and effort was dumped and buried, a heartbreaking waste. Exporters were devastated, blaming a mistake they didn't make. Tensions ran high as livelihoods were threatened and trust was shaken. The issue could have been fixed locally, but the report went straight to U.S. authorities. By the time anyone realized, it was too late to correct the error. The result? A small clerical slip led to a massive, irreversible loss. One moment of inattention had wiped out months of hard work. It was a harsh reminder. One unchecked box can doom an entire season. For everyone involved, the lesson was painfully clear. In perishable trade, there's no margin for error. Every detail matters, and the smallest oversight can have catastrophic consequences. The lesson was costly, but unforgettable. In the world of global trade, paperwork is as important as the product itself, and sometimes it's the only thing standing between success and disaster. With Indian mangoes off the shelves, U.S. importers scrambled. India's Alfonso mangoes are a premium treat, but Mexico dominates the market. Mexico supplies 2/3 of America's mangoes with efficient, reliable logistics. When India stumbled, Mexico filled the gap instantly. Supermarkets and restaurants barely missed a beat. Mexican varieties took center stage. The incident reinforced Mexico's reputation as the go-to supplier. In global trade, reliability wins. Market share is never guaranteed, it must be earned with every shipment. One slip, and a competitor is ready to take your place. The U.S. mango market is a battleground of giants and challengers where established powerhouses and ambitious newcomers compete for a place on America's fruit shelves. Every mango you see in a grocery store has a story of global trade, logistics, and fierce competition behind it. Mexico reigns supreme, supplying a staggering 65% of America's mangoes. Its proximity, vast orchards, and efficient supply chains make it the undisputed leader, with Mexican mangoes arriving fresh and in abundance throughout the year. Peru, Ecuador, Brazil, and Guatemala step in to fill the seasonal gaps, ensuring that U.S. consumers enjoy a steady, year-round supply of mangoes. Each country brings its own unique varieties and flavors, adding diversity to the market. India, despite being the world's largest mango producer, plays only a niche role in the U.S. market. Its legendary mangoes are prized, but their journey to American shores is anything but simple. The vast distance, high air freight costs, and strict U.S. irradiation rules make Indian mango exports a logistical challenge. Only the best, most resilient fruit makes the cut. That's why India focuses on premium varieties like Alfonso and Kesar, small in volume but commanding high value. These mangoes are often sold in luxurious packaging, targeting discerning customers willing to pay a premium. The recent paperwork fiasco was a blow for Indian exporters, causing delays and frustration. But in the grand scheme of the U.S. mango market, it was just a tiny blip, barely a ripple in the overall supply. Mexico and other major suppliers quickly stepped in to fill any shortfall, keeping supermarket shelves stocked and consumers happy. India's strategy is clear: quality over quantity, aiming for a high-end niche. Their mangoes are marketed as exotic delicacies, sought after by chefs and food lovers alike. But things are changing fast. In 2024, India's mango exports to the U.S. surged by 130%, reaching $10 million. A sign that the appetite for premium mangoes is growing. The ambition is bold: to move from a niche player to a major force, challenging the status quo and expanding India's footprint in the global mango trade. In this market, both scale and specialty are rewarded, but only for those who master the details, from paperwork to packaging, and from logistics to marketing. In this high-stakes arena, every form, every shipment, and every season counts. The battle for America's mango market is just getting started. The fallout was swift, but so was the fix. Indian and U.S. officials worked together to address the paperwork problem. Retraining and stricter checks were put in place at the Vashi facility. The PPQ 203 form became a top priority, no shipment left without double-checking. Within weeks, exports resumed. Over 185 metric tons shipped and accepted. Confidence was restored, and Indian mangoes returned to American shelves. The lesson in global trade: details matter more than ever. India's exporters bounced back, determined to avoid repeat mistakes. The story is a parable. One error can cost dearly, but resilience and precision win back trust. The sweet taste of Indian mangoes returned, stronger for the struggle.